Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Mohibullah Wazir. Now we will discuss the branches given by sympathetic chain. Note the point that all the sympathetic ganglion have received the preganglionic fibers either from its own nerve, either for ascending through the sympathetic chain. But note that point that the cervical nerves coming from the intervertebral foramen do not have any preganglionic sympathetic fiber. In this way, the lower lumbar and sacral also do not have. But each nerve must have postganglionic sympathetic fibers. In this way, the superior cervical ganglion, it gives branches to the upper fourth cervical ganglion, postganglionic, and the middle one gives to the middle two cervical ganglion, and the lower one gives to the lower two cervical ganglion. And in this way, the thoracic ganglion gives branches to all of its nerves. In this way, each spinal nerve, it must have postganglionic sympathetic fibers, while the cranial nerves do not have any sympathetic fibers. Now, what happens? These spinal nerves then reach to the somatic area. For example, they reach to the skin. In the skin, these sympathetic fibers which reach along with the spinal nerve, it is vasoconstrictor in the skin. It is pseudomotor, that is, it increases the secretion of the sweat glands. It is pilomotor, that it stimulates the muscles around the hair follicle, that is standing of the hairs. And then these spinal nerves also reach to the skeletal muscles, and over here these sympathetic fibers causes vasodilatation of the blood vessels of the skeletal muscle. Note the point, sympathetic is vasoconstrictor everywhere except the skeletal muscle and the brain and the heart. Okay, then the other branches of one branch is given to the spinal nerves, and then other branches of sympathetic chain are the vascular branches. Vascular branches are those branches. Look, this is again, let me say, this is the sympathetic chain, the upper cervical region. From the upper cervical ganglion, fibers ascends upward, enters into the skull along with carotid vessels. Inside the skull, these sympathetic fibers, look, this is the carotid arteries. They make a plexus of nerves around the carotid vessels, which are called as the sympathetic plexus of nerve or carotid plexus. From that, then branches are being given to what? Number one, it supplies the pupillary muscles, that it dilates the pupil, and number two, it supplies one muscle of the upper eyelid, that is levator palpebrae superiorus muscle. The smooth muscle part of levator palpebrae superiorus muscle is being supplied by this sympathetic nerve that enters into the skull from the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion. But actually, these fibers are ascending upward from the T1 segment of the spinal cord, reach to the superior cervical ganglion. The superior cervical ganglion then enters into the skull and supplies these muscles. That's why if a lesion at the T1 level will lead to drooping of the eyelid, because the levator palpebrae superiorus smooth muscle part will be paralyzed, partial drooping. Then the third type of fibers, branches that are given from the, look again, this is the cervical segment of the spinal cord. From this cervical segment of the spinal cord, branches descend downward to enter into the, from the cervical descend down to enter into the thorax. And also branches coming from the upper two ganglion sympathetic chain. In this way, the five branches, then branches descending from the cervical and from the upper two thoracic, enter to the thorax. And in the thorax, these are postganglionic fibers. These are being joined by branches from the vagus nerve. In this way, the pulmonary plexus and cardiac plexus of nerve is being formed by the postganglionic sympathetic fiber descending from the cervical sympathetic ganglion and from the upper two thoracic ganglion. And what is its function? We will discuss along with the blood supply, the nerve supply of the heart and the lungs. Then, from the lower thoracic ganglion of the sympathetic chain, fiber branches descend downward, passes through the diaphragm and reach into the abdomen. But note this point, that these nerves that are coming from the lower thoracic and enter into the abdomen, these are the preganglionic. They have not relayed in the sympathetic chain. And these nerves are called as greater splanchnic nerve, and lesser splanchnic nerve, and least splanchnic nerves. Greater, lesser, and least splanchnic nerves enter through the diaphragm into the abdomen, and in the abdomen over here they relay in the ganglion which is being called as celiac ganglion. Relay, and then from this celiac ganglion, then the postganglionic fibers reach to the nearby vessel, for example, the stomach, the duodenum, the gallbladder, etc., by hitchhike along the blood vessels from the celiac artery. Note the point. These splanchnic nerves are unrelated. They pass through the ganglion but do not relay the sympathetic chain and relay over here. Then another branch that given by the sympathetic chain from the lower sympathetic chain descend downward and directly reach over here to the upper pole of the kidney. Present over here is the adrenal gland and reach to the adrenal gland unrelated. And note the point, this is unique that they reach to the adrenal gland, and it is said that some of the cells of the adrenal gland medulla they act as a gland and relay over here. And then the other branches which descend over here again look from the lower thoracic ganglion and reach over here to the celiac ganglion and relay in the celiac ganglion and gives branches. And then some branches descend from the L1 and L2 and reach again to the abdomen. And over here in the abdomen, these sympathetic branches are being joined by branches from the vagus nerve to form superior hypogastric plexus. And then branches descend from the superior hypogastric plexus downward, and they are being joined by the parasympathetic sacral nerves to form the right and left inferior hypogastric plexus. And from this hypogastric plexuses, then branches passes to the nearby viscera, the large intestine, the urinary bladder, the uterus, etc. over here. And what is the function that will be discussed in the concerned area. In this way, sympathetic gives branch to its own nerve, to the blood vessels, and then this to the cardiac plexus, to the pulmonary plexus, to the celiac ganglion, and then to the adrenal medulla, and then to the superior hypogastric plexus and inferior hypogastric plexus. These are the branches of sympathetic chain. This is brief and I hope clear concept. Thank you very much.